Greetings everyone. Today I would like to continue my endless talk on honor. Recently I've been very busy working on my diploma, and thank God I have managed to finish it yesterday. And only thing left is defending it. Here in Mongolia, when you stand in front of a teachers and introduce your work, it is called hamgalach, meaning defending. So all I'm left is successfully defending my work, something like that. Previously, I was talking about this Mulan, a bad example for young ladies, and she seems to be somewhat the nationalistic, patriotic, and she is willing to fight for a Khan, for mainly politics, etc., etc. And obviously, she can ride a horse, meaning she is a barbarian woman, something like that. And only a barbarian woman can be like this. And this in Mongolia, there were several women who were fighting for somewhat, this for a nation, for some ideology, or for this ethnic stuff. China seems to claim it. I don't blame it, because there's quite a big portion of nomads in China, starting from Uyghurs, Inner Mongolians, Manchu, and etc. So Mulan can be somewhat this. Somewhat Chinese, something like that. I don't, this blame it. If you ask why Inner Mongolians are in China, well, it's because of history. It is because of their wish, something like that. When this Halk Mongolia declared its independence from Manchu Empire in 1911, our this last king, Bogd Khan, claimed that Inner Mongolia is an important part of Halk Mongolia, something like that. And he sent 5 armies to conquer it, and the campaign was successful. And Mongolian generals even proposed to this invade Beijing, something like that. But someone wrote a letter to our king. It was a Russian Tsar, the Russian king. So Russian king wasn't displeased what our this king was doing, and he said that he was cutting the supplies of weapon, something like that. So there was no support for Imperial Russia. So but there was no support from the locals. I mean, there was no support from Inner Mongolians, and some of their these lords say that we are not interested to bowing to your king, something like that. Well, you can understand this, because Halk Mongolia is not a developed place, something like that. It is like this. This how to explain? Imagine Mexico is invading California, and saying that this we are reclaiming our land back. Many years ago, we lost this land to USA, and we say that this land is no longer a part of USA. But the locals are not interested like being a part of Mexico. They are interested being a part of USA, something like that. So a lot of this Inner Mongolians at the time seems to hated the idea that they are going to be part of this northern Mongolia, something like that. So people together with their land is in China, and they have made their this fateful choice, something like that. And this is this somewhat the sad story. So yeah, still Hatha Mongolians had their honor. They had somewhat this fight. They this Hatha Mongolian lords did spend some manpower for a cause, but it wasn't meant to be as a part of future, something like that. So yeah, let's end the history talk. If we this talk about history, this is going to create this a lot of stuff. For example, Jews. Yeah, there is a quite big reason to dislike Jews. Yesterday I watched this a rabbi, a Jewish rabbi, is talking about goyim. He said that this what is the most horrible stuff that can happen to a Jew? A Jew is this this becoming this different faith, something like that. He said this only like this Jews have soul, and when a Jew becomes a Christian, Muslim, or Buddhist, he did say Buddhist and Hindu, even Hindu, this Jew loses his soul. So, something like that. He claimed that Goy, these non-Jews, don't have a soul. And this talk, how to say, makes me feel empty. I mean, he claims that I'm an empty person, I don't have a soul, something like that. And I think you know what is emptiness. Emptiness is an evil. When there is emptiness inside you, you're an evil. We usually think that empty people are very evil, something like that. And the first person who talked about having emptiness inside is of course Buddha, something like that. It does not matter, this. I don't, this. How to say, judging only by his talk, something like that. Well, if you look at our history, a Muslim Jew named General Hugh burned our capital city, Dark Harum. And during the communism, son of a somewhat, this Jewish shoemaker came to this, enforce communism, and he decided, together with Stalin, that 25,000 people should die because they are the upper class. Lamas. Lamas can be from this down class, this bottom class, but since they don't pay taxes, they became rich and they became the somewhat the upper class. So you remove powerful big lamas, rich lamas, and if someone is having more than like 1,000 livestock, this person is considered to be feast rich man, or someone who is like you possess my livestock, you must work for me, something this rich dude, something like that. And of course the descendants of the Genghis Khan, the nobility. And yeah, so there is a somewhat reason to dislike Jews because of the history, etc., etc. Well, let's stop about the history and let's focus on this honor. And well, it seems it's not so this honorable habit to have some this lonely woman. Of course, it's a very big this stupid social problem. and saying that this motherly love is like protecting the child, etc., etc., is like maybe somewhat this primitive, something like that. So let us not talk about this lonely woman. Let us talk about this how to say this more of a nature, something like that. Well, here in Mongolia, if you live without this household, you might die. Mother Earth or the elements will suck your energy, and you will die in the cold. So even if you are a nomad, you should constantly have a shelter. Without a home, without this shelter, you do not exist here. It can be quite cold during the winter. Well, because of these big buildings, because of this these tunnels, and this hot water is running, etc., etc., you can observe that there are those who are called homeless. I mean, in the old times there was no such thing as a homeless person, and a person who did not construct a proper shelter cannot like exist. So having this proper shelter, this protected from the cold, etc., was quite important. And this is relates with the home, host, and hostess. And no one will write something saying that you must this respect the hostess or host, something like that. You already know it because of your language. It's word host starts with the ho, and word honor starts with the honor. So it is like the most respectful way to call your wife. It's going to be a word starting with ho, not this hey wife or hey woman. It's not respectful. I guess you can call honey. And honey may sound sweet, but it also sounds quite respectful because it starts with a ho. So there is this Russian, this word for a pagan, meaning saying yazychnik, meaning a language man, something like that. It means that this person, this pagan dude, does not have this godly words in their this vocabulary, something like that. For example, this word Jehovah, Jesus, etc., etc., does not exist in Mongolian language, and because of this person follows his own traditional language, etc., etc., one can call him being a pagan. So for a pagan, you seek this your ice, you seek your God in your language, because you should have a faith that God gave you this language. So according to this English language, you honor the host and hostess, something like that. And previously I also told you that it is an honor to have a traditional hona, or this traditional clothing, something like that. And not everyone in our modern times can afford to have a full set of traditional Mongolian clothing. But I know that everyone could have something that they can wear inside their homes. It's going to be pajamas. And traditional Mongolian name for pajamas is terlik. And terlik is going to look like, in old times terlik is, this should look like this. It is made from a one solid material. And I was thinking why we abandon it, and why we are not using this terlik, and why we being somewhat this uncivilized or even somewhat barbaric and something like that. Also, on internet, I'm hearing that this time of the season is the best season of the year, and this is because it's a Christmas, something like that. And I hear that there is a war going on at Christmas, saying that this Santa Claus was a white man, Santa Claus was this black, or it was an Arab man, something like that. Well, I can say that the winter old man or the Santa is a Asian, or more precisely, he is a Mongol, something like that. I like Christmas. It is because it is someone's birthday. It's a birthday, not this victory festival when you defeat your enemy, like this the Chinese celebrate this this chasing away Mongols. Some Jews celebrating this defeating some this Greeks, and everyone this celebrates something bloody. This national holidays. I can say that there is no this national holiday where we celebrate something bloody. Well, we do celebrate the Victory Day of World War II, and this is going to be a bloody day. Personally, I think Christmas is the birthday. It's a celebration to worth celebrating compared to other these bloody days. Well, that's pretty much for today, and thanks for watching. I'm this forgetting. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year, everyone.